What's up guys, I'm Kiki and today we're continuing our playthrough of Andromeda 6. A little bit of an update on my ear cyst. I can actually wear my headphones now because yesterday when we were watching The Matrix with my boyfriend, my cyst actually popped and it started oozing out blood and pus and awful stuff like that. So I felt a really nice relief in my ear, and I'm gonna be going to the doctor soon so they can wash my ears or whatever. So I feel much better now. I had a little bit of a nap earlier on actually, so I feel very refreshed. Yeah, and actually I have one more subscriber, so whoever you are, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. So let's just continue and jump straight into the game, because I'm really excited to see where we're going to go next time. I mean, not next time, but where we're gonna go after what happened in the last episode. So I think this is it. December, yep, that's it. So Ryona says, I'll tell you if you want to hear it, but it's not a pretty story. And we're asking her about her previous team of group of friends and why she sort of disbanded from them. So I'd like to hear it, or I won't force you to relive it. I think this is she's really reluctant to share it, but I think in order for us to progress with the plot, we really need to understand more of the story, more of where every one of these characters comes from. And yeah, so I was just gonna say I'd like to hear it. I'd like to hear the story as long as you're willing to tell it. She doesn't speak for a moment, gathering her thoughts before her story begins. Before she speaks, her skin flickers, torn between conflicting memories. And if you remember Telari's, which is her species and our species as well, Telari people, or Telari aliens, I don't know how I should call them, their skin is very much reflective of their emotions. So that's really interesting. So yeah, let's continue. When I left Telarin, it was with a friend. His sister was an archangel, and he was going off to join her, so we tagged along. The work we did was, well, it was amazing at first. And her face drops, and I know the worst is yet to come. We were here on Terranium, and a group of Telari certainly draws attention, but we didn't think we were too focused on trying to get our name out there, on trying to help people. I'm sure you know of the Chimeral Zovak's followers. They are a brutal, bloody clan. They do what they want, when they want to. I note having heard stories of their exploits, and I feel a sense of dread crawl down my spine. One day we were walking the streets when 24, maybe more, surrounded us. 24 against the 10 of us. They rounded us up, they pushed us down a dark alley away from prying eyes. No one dared to stop them. We could help countless people, and yet no one helped us. They herded us like cattle. They insulted, beat, and belittled us. A couple of the archangels tried to escape while the Chimeri were distracted. My friend Mila was pushed me into the shell of a ruined building. She saved my life. I was able to hide quickly enough, concealed by the remnants of the building I was in. They couldn't see me, but I saw everything. They didn't bother to count the bodies. They didn't care how many of us there were, as long as we were dead. I watched them butcher my friends, every single one of them, and I did nothing. Oh my god, there's nothing you could have done. I should say that, yeah. Your friend saved you for a reason. If you had tried to do anything, you wouldn't be here today. Maybe it would have been better to die with them. Oh, there we go, she has that sort of a survivor's guilt, which I've read about. It's a terrible, terrible thing to go through, because if you're the only one surviving some really big tragedy, some people who do that, they feel an immense survivor's guilt. They're like, why was I the one who survived? What did I deserve to do that? So yeah. My heart clenches, hating how broken the words sound and how her beautiful skin dulls. Don't say that, you still have people who need you. I try to keep the thoughts of my family at bay, of their final moments and what I could have seen if I had been there. The memory of Nerissa, who is our big sister, remember? and she was slaughtered by Zovak, and the rest of, you know, the family was also slaughtered. Our family, I mean. So the memory of Nerissa hits especially hard. Was she frightened? Did she suffer? I can safely say that no matter what happened, my sister would have gone down fighting. She was never one to give up so easily. Ryona takes in a deep, shuddering breath, her bright eyes shining with unshed tears. I can't remember how long I hid there, terrified to leave in case they came back. She stops suddenly, a silent memory playing in her mind, one only she has access to. With a sigh, she continues her story, her eyes half closed, as though she might still be back there in that damned alleyway. When I finally stumbled out of there, something inside me was changed. I had this anger. I was sad, yes, but that rage consumed me, rage and helplessness. I was one person against an entire clan. Eventually I found refuge in a crowded bar, hoping to disappear amongst the crowd until I could figure out what to do next. That bar was the Ark. What happened next? I saw a familiar face, one who insisted he owed me a debt. Sebastian. Her face lights up at the memory, and I can only imagine how it must have felt to find a friendly face after such a tragedy. He introduced me to Calderon, I told the captain my story, and since then I've been a part of the crew. So you joined the crew because you had no other choice? I joined them because they were hunting monsters. Calderon, after what he had been through, was hell-bent on stopping Zovak and the Chimeri by any means possible. Suddenly, I wasn't helpless anymore. She fixes me with those unusual yellow eyes, her stare suddenly determined. We failed on Goldis, it won't happen again. Something in Ryona's demeanor scares me a little, though I can't say I blame her for wanting revenge against the group who murdered hers. So now you know why I joined the Andromeda Six. I'm here to see that Zovak and the Chimeri fall. I don't know how yet, but we'll find a way. That's all that matters. I believe it, or I didn't think you had it in you. I would say I believe it, of course, because ever from the start, ever since the start, we know that Ryona was... She always had that hidden temper to her, even though she seems like very calm. She does have a very, she has a temper, you know. I mean, most people do, but I think hers was like super explosive. If you remember, Bash told us that you don't want to see her angry. So I'm gonna say I believe it. Yes, I see your determination and I know how it feels to want justice and even revenge. The most important person in my life was murdered and I wasn't even here to say goodbye. There, actually. When you know how it feels, how it carves out a piece of your humanity and your faith. Our eyes meet and something in me feels connected by the tragedies we've both had to endure. I'm starting to feel it more than I ever wanted to. What will you do now that you know? I wipe away the tears that have spilled from my eyes with the back of a hand, resisting the urge to drown in my own despair. Calderon mentioned a meeting tomorrow to discuss what happens next. I suppose I'll hear what everyone has to say and decide from there. Ryona opens her mouth to say something but stops before the words come out. What is it? With an apologetic smile, she finally speaks. There are too many people who abuse the power they have. But sometimes, doing nothing at all is just as bad. You're the only surviving Pegasi. You have the biggest claim to the throne if you want it. She doesn't meet my eyes, but I understand what she's trying to say. I hadn't had the chance to think on it much, and I'm not sure how much I want to. There are people who would support you. I would support you. That means a lot, or I'm glad I can count on you, or we can caress her hair. Which, the last one doesn't fit at all with the conversation flow, with how the conversation was going at all. But I guess we can flirt with her. Like, the only reason I didn't flirt with her was because she was only the second character that we actually saw, and I wasn't sure whether we should flirt with everyone or whether we should just choose one character. But we're gonna flirt with her. I'm not gonna caress her hair, but I'm gonna I don't know, maybe we can caress her hair just for the heck of it. So caress her hair. Oh, look at her, she's so cute. So when I slip a stray strand of silver hair back behind her ear, her eyes soften on me. My hand lingers on the side of her face far longer than I intended, and she covers it with her own, her long fingers seeping her gentle warmth into me. I'm glad you found us, Kiki. The crew, I mean. I am too, it's just... My smile falters, my hand slipping back down to my side. What she said? It's not something I've ever thought about yet. To be honest, it's not something I thought about ever. I'm the youngest of 11 children. This day should have never happened. Whatever you decide, Zova can't be left to rule. There has to be someone else. There are others who might have a claim, and as weak as it may be, but none of that mattered when with Zovak at the head of power. Excuse me. So for all I know, he might have murdered them too. Ryona lets out a heavy breath, and for the first time I notice how tired she looks. All of a sudden I feel incredibly guilty for having kept her up so late. It's late and we both need to get some rest. I'll see you again when you come back for your scans. I'm sure that tomorrow there will be a lot we will all need to discuss. I stand and straighten myself up, wishing Ryona a good night before leaving the infirmary, looking forward to finding a moment of peace alone in my room. Upon entering my room, I fall back. So, Nerissa. Vex. The one thing I know is, if I hadn't gone looking for Vex, I wouldn't be alive right now. There had only been there had only been a handful of times that my family had all been together. Weddings, funerals. Zovak would have had it all planned out. When I think back on my family, on the life we lived together, my feelings are mixed. Mostly I was alone, with only my servants and guards for company. Before Vex came along, I would try to find ways to spend time with my siblings, but the less in common I found we had, the more I stopped trying. The only one who made time for me was Nerissa. Even with all her duties, we had a strong bond. I was always Nerissa's favorite. My sister would have been queen in place of our negligent father, and we both eagerly awaited her time on the throne. Now my music box, a gift from my eldest sister, is the only thing I have left of her. And my father wasn't supposed to be king. I had heard the stories. He had lost his own father and his brother all in the same day. He was thrust onto the throne, too young and inexperienced to know what to do with it, guided only by his uncle and the crown council. My grandfather was a great king, or so I've heard, but his brother and son unraveled all he had done in the matter of a few short years and left the system in disarray. My mother was Tajin, the stellar queen, and the king's third wife. She was bitter and cold. She hated her life in the palace almost as much as she hated my father. Politics forced her into marriage she had never wanted, and by default her children were nothing more than a duty to her. With the memories of my family playing in my mind, I eventually drifted into a restless sleep. Oh, there we go, Vex again! I tumble out of the ballroom with Vex on my heels, his laughter almost as loud as my own as we draw the attention of nearby guests. We had danced for hours and hours, and I couldn't remember the last time I had so much fun, though things were always fun with Vex around. But the ballroom had eventually started to clear out, and we finally agreed to cut the night short, thinking it's best to avoid being seen. Lieutenant Seraph, what are you doing away from your post? The captain stops and squints at me, and while Vex quickly steps between us to shield me from his view, it's too late. Princess, you're not supposed to be here. Here? Why am I'm not able to read today for some reason. So Vex looks back at me from over his shoulder, a single word slipping from between his lips. Run. I don't have to be told twice. Turning on my heel, I bolt down the corridor, pushing through the crowd of confused and horrified guests who thankfully thin out as I reach the end of the hall, deciding which way to turn. This way. A hand grabs mine and a bubble of laughter escapes me as Vex pulls down the hall to the left, our feet pounding the carpeted floor as shouts erupt from behind us. We turn another corner. Oh my god, I really... my vision is a bit blurry actually. I haven't looked like further into the distance in a while today, so that's the reason why. So, and then one more, until Vex stops in front of a large tapestry, pulls it aside, and pushes me to the hidden passageway behind it. I lean back against the wall, breathing hard. Vex knows the secrets of this palace almost as well as I do, and tonight I couldn't be more glad for it. Vex, I think we lost... Shh. Vex steps before me and clamps a hand over my mouth just as the sound of footsteps echoes in the hallway on the other side of the passageway. I still at once, and satisfied that I won't make a sound, Vex drops his hand and gives me a crooked grin. Stay quiet or move closer to him. Like, honestly, now that we know that he's such a bad person, I'm not gonna flirt with him, so we're just gonna stay quiet. Clamping my lips together, I stay quiet, exchanging the most mischievous of looks with Vex. Laughter dances in his eyes, and for the umpteenth time tonight, I'm glad I let him talk me into going to the masquerade. I think there's something here. A tap on the tapestry startles us, and Vex grabs my hand to pull me further down the quickly darkening passageway. We all but tumble out from behind a statue and into another corridor, and the quiet of the area a welcome change of pace. Vex catches me around the waist and pulls me against him, wicked humor in his eyes. The remnants of his laughter rumble through me, and when he runs a thumb over my bottom lip, my heart beats an unsteady rhythm in my chest. Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to click that. One day we'll have to leave this place, and I'll take you somewhere where there are no rules or expectations, where we can just be us. Do you promise? I promise, Kiki. With a start, I awake, bolting upright in bed and blinking against the harsh sun shining through the window. A rhythmic knock on my door drags me back to the present, the rush of the memory that it had just come to me steadily fading as I get up and make my way to the door, smoothing my own wrinkled outfit. Oh, didn't we change into pajamas? Like, don't we have pajamas? That's really bad. I'm not sure how long I slept for, but the steady stream of sunlight that filters through the window tells me it was long enough. When I slide open the door with a hiss, it was to find a certain pilot standing in the doorway looking much too perky for this early in the morning. And there we go, it's Ayame. Oh, I didn't think you would be awake already. Ayame smiles wide, beaming at me with an energy that is not fitting of someone who had barely gotten any sleep last night. I bid you good morning, princess. Wouldn't not do... What? Let me just read that once again. Wouldst not do to waste away daylight. There we go. I have thus come to make sure thou art ready for the day ahead. I love how she's just low-key trolling us. And giving me a half bow, the poor usage of Old English coupled with the choking sound of strained laughter simply gives it away just how much fun Ayame seems to be having at my expense. I don't think I'm ready to joke about all of it yet, but her behavior washes over me in a wave of relief. Maybe all I need is a laugh or two, anything that would help me ease my mind. Ah yeah, that was horrible, but I love it. Well, of course you do, my stuck-up impression is spot on. Not the words I would use to describe it, but I don't have it in me to burst her bubble, so I step back and make way for her to join me in my room instead. Barely glancing around, Ayame quickly makes her way to the foot of my bed, flopping down on the covers before turning her piercing, violet eyes on me. So, how are you? Not well. I think it's all just a little too much right now. It's all too real, you know. Everything I've ever known is gone and nothing will ever bring it back. I guess I just need something, anything to feel normal again. Pressing her lips together, Ayame stares at me for a few moments before blinking away and shaking her own head. I'm glad she came to check on me and that she bothered asking how I'm feeling, yet curiosity still nags at me as to her thoughts on this, on me. How do you feel about this, or does my past bother you? I'm gonna ask her, does my past bother you? There truly is no other way to put it, and I don't think I can beat around the bush with this one. Does it bother you, who I am? Not really, no. I mean, it was a shock when I found out you were actually some big shot noble. Yeah, but by then the damage was already done. Not sure how much of a big shot I am, but what damage? She shrugs, making a face that makes it impossible to say she regrets anything she might have done prior to finding that out. I like you already, it doesn't matter to me who are your folks or anything of the sort. I wouldn't be able to express the relief I feel at her words if I tried my best. The idea of the crew pushing me away because of my family terrifies me. They're the only people I have found that I have around me right now, and despite the short time we've known each other, I've come to rely on them. Maybe I shouldn't, but it's true. I have noticed a slight change in her stance, how she came around to check up on me this early in the day, but I'll take it over being ignored. I give Aya a small smile in return, and she beams right back at me with an intensity that makes me think she wants to squash my worries with the brightness of her smile. Tapping on the empty bed space next to her, Aya gestures me to come over. Have I ever told you how I ended up in the army? I am aware Calderon and her had served together, but while I can clearly see why the captain would choose to follow a military career, it's quite hard to picture Ayame walking up one day and enlisting. It does seem very interesting and very strange, but I guess we're gonna have to find out next time, because I'm gonna have to end this one here. And let me just save. And there we go. Yeah, really thank you so much, guys, for watching these episodes. I really appreciate all the support that you give to me, and I'm glad that you enjoy these little videos. So yeah, leave a like if you want to see some more of these, and leave a comment as well. I would really appreciate that really a lot. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!